This is a test of the Canon SL1 DSLR as it performs during sunset and while on a bike. I have the camera set at 1080p, 30 frames per second. Oops, sorry. My apologies about that. So, I'm riding my bike at a leisurely pace right now. I wanted an idea as to how this thing handled flaring, both the lens and the camera. So I'm currently riding down the sidewalk in Destin, Florida, with the camera in my right hand and my handlebars on the left. The camera is set at f11 and the shutter speed is at 1/60th of a second. The camera is shooting at 30 frames per second in 1920 by 1080p. And I have the image stabilization turned on. Well, actually, what do you know? I see a little bit of an opportunity to try and block out the sun using that sign right there. Perhaps, let me see what I can do about this. And no, not quite. The sign's not quite high enough up in the air. What you're seeing right now is Pompano Joe's. Pompano Joe's is a relatively well-known tourist place in Destin. And I'm curious as to how this camera handles rolling shutter. I'm actually going to put it out directly facing towards the road. So yeah, this serves as a test of rolling shutter on the Canon SL1. And being pointed directly at the sun, this camera suffers the fate of a lot of Canon's Rebel series. It sort of just blinds the camera and it makes the contrast drop. And it makes everything just appear just completely overblown in the highlights. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to determine that going into the sun, this camera is not the best. Most definitely it is not the best. So I think instead what I'm going to do is actually get off of my bike and walk down the beach with this camera. I hope you didn't hear that vroom sound over my voice, but what I said I'm going to do is I'm going to get off my bike and I'm going to walk down the beach with this camera. So you will see that in the next video. Until then, I'll see you then. This is a test of the Canon SL1 DSLR. The ISO is set at 100, the shutter speed at 1/60th of a second, and I'm shooting at 1080p at 30 frames per second. So I'm going to give you a pan here of the Destin sunset. So let's do a pan. And there we go. And now I'll leave you with the sounds of the waves during the sunset in Destin, Florida. This is me walking on the beach with the Canon SL1. I'm trying to keep this camera steady. However, when you walk on the beach, I think there's always going to be some jitter. I have the image stabilization in the lens turned on. Let me know how you think that is working. So I'm going to shut up now and let you guys, well, first I'm going to tell you the specs. This camera is set at ISO 100, the aperture is at f8, shutter speed 1/60th of a second, 1920 by 1080p at 30 frames per second. So with that, I'm going to shut up and let you watch the ocean and listen to the waves.